It is so frustrating when something doesn't start. You sit there and you pull and you pull and you pull, then it floods it. It's annoying, especially outboards when you're at the boat ramp and you can't get it started and there's people waiting on you and everybody's staring at you saying, oh, he doesn't know how to own a boat. So if you are having an issue cold starting Mercury or Tohatsu, smaller outboard, and you use the internal tank, check this out. So I have done everything. I've cleaned this carb, I've tore this thing down, new spark plugs. It still takes me about 5 to 6 pulls to get this guy started. I use the internal tank. Here is the inlet to the carburetor. Look how high that is compared to the gas tank. Right here. That's how high the gas inlet is to the carb relative to the gas tank. And look at all of these turns the gas has to go through. You don't get any gravity feed of your gas to your carb when you first start. When you open your gas valve up, you don't get any gravity feed. I've tried it. I've pulled the drain plug on the carb bowl and I don't get any flow. So the first pulls when you're using an internal tank, you're having to cycle the gas pump, the fuel pump, to get everything primed and fill your carb bowl back up, get everything full of gas again, especially if your gas tank's not all the way full. If you're starting here, you're backflowing into your tank. The key point for me is I'm not getting any gravity flow. I open the gas valve, I'm thinking gas is flowing. It's not. I'm having to pull 5 times to get the fuel pump to prime everything. So my solution, I use my external tank to prime everything before I leave. Priming squeezes, it primes everything. It starts on the second pull every time now because I've got gas in this whole system and I'm not having to cycle the fuel pump to prime everything. So there you have it. That's what worked for me. I have switched over. I primarily use the external tank now, or if I have a lot of stuff and I don't want to take the external tank, I need that space, I'll hook up the external tank before I leave, prime it a few times, make sure every gas line is full of gas, and make sure my gas tank level is higher than the carb level so I don't backflow back into the tank. So a couple of other things you can do if this is not your problem and you're having a hard time cold starting, never use ethanol gas. Ethanol gas will attract water. When it dries in your carb, it leaves flakes that can mess up your jets in your carb. Make sure your fuel filter is clean. If you use an external tank, a lot of time those gas lines aren't great. They'll degrade over time. So if you're seeing black flakes in your fuel filter, more than likely that's degradation of some of your gas lines, especially if you use an external tank. It is best to replace gas lines that come standard with the external tank with automotive grade gas line. Another key point, if you use the internal tank and then when you finish a trip, if you use the internal tank, immediately kill that gas valve. That's going to prevent your system from losing all of that prime when you go to store your boat for your next trip. It's going to prevent gas from flowing back into your tank. And then before you open that gas valve, make sure you fill your tank up beyond that point so gas doesn't flow back into your tank. I appreciate the view. Thank you. And as always, if you're out on the water, please pick up your trash. Don't be the person who ruins it for everybody later. Thank you.